Hey, everybody. Okay, so we are now in the after show. And so we are excited because there's so much more discussion that we need to have. We got so much that we still need to talk about. So we're getting ready to go into the impacts of abuse part 2, the after show. All right. So
Okay.
we are now on to the after show. And so I just have to say that this has been, just an awesome experience, just, sharing with you guys, because for me, I myself was raped 3 times at 3 different times. One of them, I was 16. The other one was in my early 20s, like I said, from the bishop. And I actually got pregnant, and he actually snuck and paid for me to get an abortion. It was my first time ever having an abortion, and I felt bad because I felt like, first and only time, and I felt like, why am I here? How did I get here? How am I coming to this church? And then I used to make it hard on myself, because in my mind I was telling myself, because he told me this was I don't know the exact words, because like I said, this was years ago, but he would tell me like this was some, non-traditional way that he was ministering to me, and he would use scripture, and he would use the word of God. And because at the time I was young, and I was maybe 20, 23, something like that, maybe 22 or 23. I was really trying to seek God. My husband had gotten incarcerated, and then I lost my job. And so I bought a house at 22. So I had my first house. So I got a mortgage, I got a car note. I lost my job. My first husband at the time, he got incarcerated. So now it's me. So where do I go? I only know church. So that's where I went. And that's where I thought that I was getting. And so and then my refrigerator died. So now I'm in a house by myself with a 2-year-old without any job. And I'm in Kensington. I lived in Kensington in this time. And in PA. I don't know if you've heard of that area. And my refrigerator died, and I don't have any food. What am I supposed to do? So, of course, naturally, the bishop is like, oh, well, we're going to help you out. We're going to get you a refrigerator. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And I'm like, okay, so this, and then that's when it all started. And then it was just like, it started off with, let me come over, and we're going to look on a computer, and I'm going to have you write down your feelings. And while I'm typing on a computer, he's rubbing on my shoulders. And I'm like, just focus. Just think about what your experiences. Think about, he's literally like counseling me as I'm typing, but I feel him on my shoulders massaging me. And I'm like, and then for years I said to myself, am I stupid? Like, how was I so dumb that I did not see and recognize what was going on at that time and stop it before it got too far? And so I understand what you're saying when you say you blame yourself, you take that on. And to this day, you will never catch me by myself with any bishop, pastor, male. Where's your wife? Or where's a deaconess? Somebody.
Yes. I understand.
Yeah. So
that's a real place, though. That's a real place. I was.
Yes. Oh my Lord.
I can say that my experiences. Some things I look back and say I could have prevented. I say I could have prevented if I'd have just spoke up. If I'd have just said something. I think one of the biggest hurdles in my mental, emotional, and relationship with my siblings is the fact that I was the first.
And I'm the first too. I'm the oldest. Yep.
I was the first one he touched. I was the first one he abused. I told, but he was still in the house.
Right.
I saw the signs, and I even approached my siblings. My sister was like, is he doing this? And she said, yes. I told, and he was still in the house. And we left, he would come get us. When we leave again, he come get us. No matter what happened, it was like, maybe I just didn't tell the right person. It took my sister, Taneya, opening her mouth to tell somebody totally different, because I told the person I thought was going to be able to get us out of it. We told her, we shared with her, but there was so many blinders up and so many deceptive webs and weaving that was in place, that when we all got out of it and we began to actually tell our side of the story, it literally almost broke her.
Mm.
And I held, I can say it, I held my mother in my arms as she wept like a baby. And she said, but they are his kids. He's not supposed to do that. And how come I didn't know? And he was lying to me all those times. And the church said to stay, don't let the children break up your marriage, because he wasn't telling the whole side of what he was doing. He was always making it seem like it was our fault, narcissistic behavior, like it was our fault. And he even said later on that the things that happened with between us was we need to take accountability for our part in it, because he
Mm.
didn't do it by himself. I was like, are you serious? So you're telling me as a father figure, it was my fault that you touched me? It was my
Right.
fault you came in my room? It was my fault? No. I refuse to accept that. And you will never ever tell me that ever again. Matter of fact, you're not even my father. I mean, I got a daddy. Now, you know what? We're going to take back all my power. I'm done. So I had to not beat myself up because I felt like I was supposed to save my sisters. I was supposed to be the one to rescue us. I was supposed to be the one to go and tell. But even when the social workers and teachers came to me, I wouldn't tell because I was so afraid, because he threatened to
Yeah.
kill us so many times. He always said, if you ever call the cops on me, they're going to come with a body bag and it's not for me. I'll
Mm.
stump you in the ground. I was just like, how do you tell your kids this? How do you tell
Right.
the people that look to you for their protection that you're going to kill them? So I had to get through it, and I think that was part of my disconnect from my siblings, because I couldn't protect them. So I was like, well, I couldn't protect them, so they're not really going to miss me anyway because they're mad at me. And I even know that they were upset because I've had them say, you abandoned us, because I left
Mm.
22. I left. I couldn't take no more. 22 years of my life. I can't take no more. I'm about to
Yeah.
lose it because I'm ready to get rid of this man. But no matter who I tell, no matter what's going on, I can't really tell the whole story because he's going to kill us. So I got to get out. I love y'all. I remember saying the night I left, I love y'all, but I can't take no more. And I just had to get my life, my mental together when it comes to forgiving myself for not doing enough that I thought I should have done.
Yeah.
And there's other scenarios that play part in that, but just dealing with my stepfather, their dad, it was a roller coaster mental. um it was almost like he would separate us and we couldn't talk to each other, so he tried to plant the seed of division.
Mm-hmm.
And no, and no matter what we go through, like my sister said, we can tell each other off and fuss and fight, but when it's all said and done, we're still sisters. Now the abuse with that, one of the questions in there says, how do we not perpetuate it? With the abuse with that is that we learned abuse in the home by being harsh to each other, by being harsh, or taken away, withholding, neglecting, or silent treatment. So in turn, let's do that to each other. The victory of it is when we acknowledge it and say, yo, let's talk it out. Let's not
Yeah.
give room to the devil. um let's kill that. And even when we have to say, yo, you acting kind of off right now, what's going on, let's calm down. No, 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 no. Or either I just be like, I don't want to talk to y'all no more for right now, just leave me alone. It's the conquering that, don't shut down. Let's conquer that, because the seed was planted to be divided. The seed was planted to for us never ever to come together and to conquer and to be victorious. And we're here. We're
Yes.
here with you. We are here telling our story every chance we get to tell people, yes, we was in church going through hell, but God didn't leave us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm, 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 mm.
You got anything, Taneya?
That's heavy. That's a lot. I mean, from your story to what my sister is saying, I'm my yeah, my dad is her stepdad, so I'm his
Mhm.
oldest, as far as we know. The name of the Lord.
And
And
your
I lightly mention my mother, um, for different reasons, but since this is the after show, I will say this. We did not have our mother to run to because, like she said, we ran to her. Tisha ran to her. I did. Um, I remember before my father was trying to penetrate me through my vagina with his penis. If I can just be frank, because I revisit it, but I ain't
Yeah.
reliving it. I'm free enough to
Yeah.
talk about it. I remember um asking my mom because his sexual advances towards me were it was picking up. Now, when I was in seventh grade, was the first time he put his mouth on my vagina, and it was the first time I mean, I don't know how frank we can be, but I'm free. When he was doing things to me, it went from that when I was in seventh grade, when we lived in Galen Garden Apartments, he was doing
mm,
that to me. And it was building up to the penetration. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
It wasn't like all the way, just a little bit. He was just building up to it. I'm just like, I felt things changing with us sexually. So I went to my mother and I said, Mom, why do we keep getting out of Egypt and you keep taking us back? Now, as a child, I didn't understand why we were running. She gave my older sister a plan for us to leave. We end up right back in the house with him. I just could not understand the cycle. So I said, Mom, why? So that's when I went to my mother's sister, my aunt, because I thought that he was going to either get me pregnant or we were going to die. He was going to either
Right.
kill my mother, kill my. I did not know what was going to happen. I was scared to death to where I was like, I was panicking. I panicked. My aunt we was at Aunt Nancy's house, and she was sitting talking to cousin Judy and a couple of her other cousins, and they were talking about how people go through things and they're not able to say anything. Now I'm 15 years old, and I'm overhearing the adults talking about this. And my aunt said, I'm going to go to the store. I said, Aunt Nancy, can I go with you? And I go with her and I tell everything. I'm like bawling. I'm like, Aunt Nancy, please, please help out. Please, please. I don't know what to do. We can't go back. We can't go back. She said, What? I said, He's doing this. He's been doing that. I just threw up and told her everything. Everything that I knew to tell. We was doing to my mother, to my sisters, to me. She said, What? Within a few days, diapers was at the house. She
yep.
called me at the police station, giving our story. I had to go to court to testify against my father, which was strange because when I was in the court, my mother did not go in the court with me. I had to go on the stand without my mother in the courtroom with people I did not know. And they were asking me specific questions. When did he do it? The prosecutors. When did he do it? Now I know that they're prosecutors. When did he do it? What time of the day did he do it? I'm on the stand in a room full of people I did not know having to say something.
Wow.
And I had no details. I said, I felt traumatized then. I said, I don't know. I don't know what it was. Was it in the morning? I said, I don't know. They got me out of that courtroom so quick.
Wow.
And I never, from that day to this one, I never heard another word about that court visit that my mother took me to. She was standing right outside the courtroom. And when they called me in, she said, go ahead, today. You can do it. Just go ahead in there. And she just, told me to go in there. And I went in there by myself on the stand.
Wow.
Mm-mm.
With
I'm
no,
I'm a, I'm gonna
do
interject
you
for a
remember that?
second.
Do you
Yes,
remember that?
I remember having to go to y'all having to go to court. I was never summoned to court. You were the only one summoned to court. The crazy part is this: when we look back at the whole sum of everything, my mother married this man, came into her life when she was 17 years old, married him at 18 or 19. No, 18, 19 on her birthday. She
Yes.
was still a child. Her her father said she was pregnant with me. It does not look good for you to be a woman with a child and not married. You need to get married. So she married him. Mentally, emotionally, she was not prepared. He was a narcissist, and she said it out of her mouth of sometime just a while back that if she didn't do certain things, he would slap her or he would fight her.
Mm.
So mentally, he had her duped. She was a strong woman, but there were some areas that he had her duped. She tells a story that he had me thinking that the reason why he kept y'all from me when I got off from work is because I had worked all day and he was trying to let me rest. No, no. So was she capable and prepared and ready and able to do the things we were looking for her as a mother to do? No. Now fight for others? Yes. But I think it was a place of denial in our heart and mind. Like she said, that's that's the dad. He's not supposed to do that. My daddy didn't do that to me. Why
Yeah.
would he do that to his children? Why
Yeah.
would he do that? I'm sorry, Taneya.
No, no, it's fine because growing up in that type of environment with those type of parents is why it's important to heal because the way you when you're raised as a child, if you don't heal, you're going to parent your children the same way.
Right.
You're going to
It's true.
not know how to create an environment for them to open up to talk. We didn't get to talk about that. How do you create a safe environment for your children to open up and speak up?
Mm-mm.
Everything was hush, hush. It was a taboo subject in the
What
church.
goes on in this house stays in this house.
I mean, that's what we
Mhm.
were raised under. You better not say nothing, or I'm gonna put you in a body bag. My father used to tell me personally, if you tell anybody,
Lord have mercy. Yes,
I mean,
that's real.
the times he took me to take money out of my mother's bank account, and I had to count hundreds of dollars. Well, he took them out in ones. I had to count them in the bank at the little
Wow.
stand. They had little stands in the middle. He took all the money out of my
Mhm.
mother's account, and I did not know what was going on. He said, "Here, here, here," because he was disarming my mother. Is what he was doing.
Mm.
He was disarming her. It
Yes,
was
that is
control.
real.
It
That's
was
real.
it was sad, and I
I
was a part
said
of that part.
I can say that I asked my mom one time, why didn't you leave him before you had more kids? Not to say I'm not happy about my sisters. That's a whole nother story.
It's a legitimate question.
But why didn't you leave him sooner? She said that there will be moments whenever they will get into fights. Mind you, she's 18 years old, 18, 19 years old. They will get into arguments and fights. He will hold me hostage
Mm.
and say that he is not giving me to her, and that she can't leave because I'm not leaving with her. I'm staying with him.
Mm.
Wow.
So therefore, she had a mental thing to do. Do I leave my child with this abusive man, or do I just go ahead and deal with it and be able to stay with my child?
Wow.
Now, when they were together, Daddy had to be in his early 20s as well, because by the time I came
He
on the
was
scene,
24, I think 23, 24.
yes, this is true. And so by the time your abuse started before me, when I was 7 years old, Daddy was like 30, 32,
Hmm.
33 years old. He was in his early 30s and he was having sex with me for 8 years it started in his early 30s. I had to go back
Mm.
and revisit my past and put the timeline together about how
Wow.
old I was. And
And it's great to hear you say that. I can't. I know a certain phase that happened. After a while, I left. I can't give you an exact timeline when it. I know it started at a certain time, about
Mhm.
6, 7 years old. But after that, I can't tell you because mentally I had to separate myself. And that's another area, who, Jesus, relationship wise, intimately, that's a struggle
Yeah. Like it has to
because
be.
it's one of those. Um, my mama didn't teach me about sex or love and the intimacy with the spouse. She just told me to take care of the house, take care of the kids, have the babies. That's it. So when it came down to intimacy, because I learned to block myself whenever he touched me,
Mhm.
I had a hard time connecting.
Mhm.
And that right there for a marriage is kind of hard because you're constantly seeking for
Yeah.
that. You're seeking. And it's like, once I open up, it's like I have this insatiable desire to be pleased, but I can never really be pleased. So that
Mm.
goes to a whole nother place.
Mm. Mm.
It's mental. It's a mental place because I blocked off for so long. I did not know how to really connect, and I didn't know what to connect to because I didn't know what it was I was looking
Yeah.
for. I'm sorry, Taneya. You can just trip
No,
in you. Sorry,
no,
girl. I
we're
love you,
chit
boo.
chatting. You're making me think about my sexual appetite as well,
Mhm.
because my the first 6 years of me being my father being intimate with me and raping me, we didn't call it what is raping me. There was no intercourse involved.
Mhm.
So sex with him was all oral.
Mm.
That's how I identify sex, oral sex.
Mhm.
And so it was easy for me to say, I don't need a man. I don't trust men. It was, you know what I'm saying? It became a woman can do to me what my dad was doing, because that's what I began to like.
Mhm.
And then it became less about sex. I don't want the sex. I just want real genuine love. And I just didn't think that a man could give it to me, because I'm thinking a man is gonna rape me because
Mm-hmm.
my dad did.
Take from me. Take from me. Just take from me.
Yep.
Awesome.
And so I'm like, it created a belief system, a false belief
Belief
system
system.
inside of
Mhm.
me about what God says, who God says sex should be between.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm just being completely transparent. I didn't think I was going to share this stuff, but I'm just keeping it real, because a lot of people that
They
choose
need to
same
know.
sex
They do.
relationships, whether they have rendezvous or just a moment or just a desire, I had to dig deep and say, where's that coming from?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
God.
go
And I
back
think
to
that's good.
find
That's
out
good.
why.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because a lot of people, who have decided to go on that when it comes to sexuality, bisexuality,
Yeah.
homosexuality, you never know what they may have experienced that has
Mhm.
caused them to go into that direction, and not having Christ in their life or knowing Christ
Right.
Yes.
makes it even that much harder to
Order.
be
Yeah.
released from that.
Really.
Yeah.
Really, really, really,
I
really.
say God has been. Someone asked me to explain who is God to me, and
Mhm.
the one thing that I can tell people, God has been constant. Whether I was in the moment, out of the moment, revisiting the moment, reliving the moment, He's always been that constant. I'm here. I love you.
Mhm.
I'll never leave you, nor will I forsake you,
Mhm.
because I felt abandoned by my biological father. And when I found out the real story behind why he was in my life, it all went back to my stepfather, who put a wedge there. I was just like, yo, I just want a daddy's love. I want a daddy that's going to love me and not hurt me.
Mhm.
I want a daddy that's going to touch me and not abuse me. And
Mhm.
that when his touch comes near me, I don't pull away.
Mhm. Mhm.
Or when his hand comes to me, or if he goes to kiss me, I don't cringe.
Mhm.
I want a daddy that is genuinely fatherly, that
Mhm.
if I'm hurting, he's going to help me through the pain and
Mhm.
not monopolize the pain and say, I was the one that did it for you. I did this for you and you owe me. No, I just wanted that. And when I look back at everything about that moment in life, I just wanted a real dad. And
Mhm.
I had to say, God, you've always been a father.
Mhm.
Even when I had my moments of breaking, you've always been that daddy to me. You've always, in the middle of the night when I wanted to cry, or I did cry, and that was another thing, I stopped crying for many, many years. When I wanted to cry, you were there. When I didn't feel like anyone cared, you were there.
Mhm.
God, you've been my constant, constant. Even when I walked away, you were still there.
Still there. Even
You
when we
were
walk away, he's
still,
still there.
he was still there, girl. Constant. God is the only thing that has kept me. The counselor said to me when I went to my first session and told her some of my story, she stopped the session. She says, hold up. She says, you should be in an institution somewhere. Why haven't you lost your mind? I had to tell the counselor, only God,
It's only God.
only God. He's the only one that has kept me, even whenever I did feel like I was losing it, or that I get those moments, because the spirits will come to say, you're crazy, or
Mhm.
that didn't really happen to you because you've heard, now that didn't happen to you. Yes, it did. And God, you know what? I ain't listening to you, devil.
That's it. You don't get to
God,
talk to me.
you don't
Mhm.
you don't get
Mhm.
the right to say nothing. You
Mhm.
That's
know,
it.
speak life, God. I speak life. That's what I had to do. Speak life over myself too. Speak the
Mhm.
word of God over my situation.
Mhm.
Out talk the enemy. Jesus talked to him.
Mhm.
He
Mhm.
did. If Jesus talked to him, I can tell him too. The word
That's it.
says, the word says, the word of God
That's it. You
says,
speak to that situation, and that's how that's even how I fight thoughts when those thoughts come. The way you fight thoughts is through word. You speak the word over those thoughts,
yes,
and as you speak the word, they you if you stand bold as a lion, the enemy will flee. Yeah, but
yes.
that's good. That's good. So, I just appreciate you guys because it helps free me. It still helps to free me myself. So I appreciate that, and thank you for sharing your story. Before we wrap up with the after show, did you guys have any last words you wanted to say?
Taneya,
I want to say that, whatever it is that you have gone through or are going through, if you have gone through any trauma, definitely seek out your healing. Learn what you need to
Mhm.
do to get the healing that you need so that you can be a productive, successful individual. Because when you're not healed, you'll be an unhealed mother trying to parent. You'll be
Mhm.
an unhealed person out here in society, and people will see that you're still hurting because you'll be hurting other people. So get the healing that you need. And I also want to say that, to piggyback on what the both of you were saying, that God is truly a healer. When you really seek the Lord from a non-religious standpoint, I mean, truly seeking the Lord, getting in your prayer closet, asking the Lord in prayer to reveal you to you,
Mhm.
letting you see yourself, and addressing your issues and allowing God in to really heal you. It's a real thing. And I can truly say that when I truly, truly let God in, I think I didn't truly let God in until I really decided to heal. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been licensed, I've been ordained, I've been working in ministry all of my life. But I have to say, I didn't really come into who I am until I really allowed the Lord to heal my soul.
Mm. Yeah.
Until I allowed the Lord to heal my soul, my soulish wounds. I mean, you got to really, really get through that process. Don't run from it. It will do you a world of good. And we don't say things about the church to shame the real church,
no,
Mm.
because the real church, where the people that's in that building is full of imperfect people, including yourself.
yeah,
So we don't do it to shame the church. There is an expectation, for the church to be there. But like you said earlier, Kelly, it matters where you go. If you're going to decide to go to church, it matters where you go. Make
It
sure you
does.
take the time to make sure you're with the right group of people, if that's what you decide to do. If church is not your thing, find the right group of people that's going to help heal your soul. Just going to
Mhm.
help build you up and be a better individual. But look, God is real. He's healing us.
yes,
And we're here to help heal you, but one person at a time. Whatever we got to do, love you up, hug you up, call
yes,
us up. We're going to get you up, honey.
That's it.
yes,
We're going to get you up.
yes,
We're going to get you up. We
yes.
got you back. Yes.
Yes, you're not alone. Even
You are
when you
not.
don't think you have someone, you are never alone.
No,
Even
Never.
when you're sitting in a room by yourself, God
no,
Right,
is always there with you. And you may
always.
not be
right,
able to
right.
see him, but you can feel him. Just like you
Yes.
may not see your headache, but you know it's there because you can feel it.
Mm,
You can't
yeah.
see your fetus when it's first born, but you can start to feel it and
Feel
you
it.
know it's
Yeah.
there. So just remember that and
Mm,
ask him to guide you and direct him to where you need to go that can help get your healing, to go
Yes.
to your
amen.
counselors, because it matters what counselor you go to, because not everybody is fit for you.
Yeah.
So just pray about it and seek God, because he is real, and
Mm-hmm.
he does use people to help you, even though people are the
Yes, he
ones
is.
that hurt us. It's because human beings have inordinate desires, and when you have free will with inordinate desires, you get people that are going to do things. But God is the ultimate. He is the ultimate.
Yes.
He has all power. He's all knowing, and he
Yes.
can and he will help you and
Oh,
direct you. You just have to
yes, he will.
believe.
Yes, he will.
Yes.
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 Yes. Believe.
Ah,
Believe.
yes.
Believe.
Believe.
Yes. I
Ah,
love
yeah.
it.
Yes. Yes.
Believe.
Believe.
Yes.
I can
He
say
said all
that
you got to do is
the one
believe.
thing,
Don't you do that?
yes,
Yeah,
believe,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
believe.
yeah.
That's a place right there. That's a
Yeah,
vein. That's a vein right there.
Believe.
Listen,
Yes.
I keep hearing whenever you come to the end of yourself,
yeah.
trying to figure it out for yourself, that's
Mhm,
when God will reveal himself.
mhm,
Yes.
So let go of this is how it's supposed to be. I need to get him back. I need to get them back. They need to go. Some people will. Some people will go to jail. Some people, and that's right because the law is for the lawless. But there are some things emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, like we're talking right now. It's only God. So you have to let God have control. That's my part in saying, let God have his way, and believe God. That's
mm.
why I'm leading to believe.
Yeah,
Believe
yeah,
that
yeah,
God
yeah, yeah,
can,
yeah,
believe
yeah,
that he will, believe
yeah.
that he has. He's
Sure.
done it before, he'll do it again.
Uh,
And let me
He'll
say
never
this real
fail.
quick because God just laid this on my heart. I'm going to say this. Even if your perpetrator does not go to prison, because like she said,
Mm-hmm.
some will go and some will not. Don't allow the enemy to put you in a prison. Don't allow the enemy to put you in a
No,
mental
sir.
or a spiritual prison by holding you captive to those feelings of guilt,
Yes.
feelings like you did something, feeling like you're unworthy, feeling like you can't say anything because somebody is going to know who that person is. Because my perpetrator
Right.
never went to prison. I went to war, women organized against rape. I shared my story, but I was too afraid because of the level that he stood on in status and stature. I was too afraid that nobody was going to believe me. And
mm,
most of the times, even when I was 16 and I got raped the first time, I went to the family. I said something, and they basically told me to be quiet and don't say anything to anybody because they didn't want their family to get messed up. But nobody thought about me
mm,
Mm.
and
Not
how it
one.
messed me up for all of these years. Nobody
mm.
thought about me
Real.
and where I
Honey.
no, you know what I'm saying? So you don't allow
Yes.
yourself to be in that prison. I was in that prison for a long time because I allowed the enemy to talk to me. I allowed him to make me feel bad. I allowed him to make me feel, and even to this day, there are certain things about myself where I feel like I'm not worthy and I feel like I have self-doubt and I feel like I can't
Right.
do. A lot of that probably comes from that because of the prison I was in for so long. And now God is breaking me out of it. Because that's why I didn't want to do the show. When God
Mm-hmm.
told me to do this
Mm.
talk show, I did not want to do it because I didn't want to be in front of the camera. You know, I didn't want to have to people to see me and to know and to
But
have
you're
all these things.
necessary. You're
Yeah.
necessary.
Yeah, you are.
But I
You're
think God,
necessary because you open doors that a lot of people are afraid to go through, and you're opening doors for people to learn how to go through.
Mhm.
yes,
Because a
that's
lot
the
of times
key.
people want to do a thing, don't know how to do a thing. But I always say, if the will has already been made, why I got to recreate it? Just get on it.
Hmm.
So I'm rolling with you, sis. I'm rolling with you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate
Yes,
that.
yes,
So,
yes.
well, thank you, ladies. We getting ready to get the after show up out of here. I think we done wrung it out. I think we done
Yeah,
got
yeah,
all of the
yeah.
the water out that we can get out of it. So, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you, and we will see you all on the next episode.
Yes.
Amen.